in the morning, racing through the hospital. It's now leaking into my body. I can feel myself dying. I'm in my 20s at the time, and I'm thinking, really? This is how I'm going out. I'm laying in a cold, sterile hospital. I don't know anyone here. None of these nurses or doctors are mine. And I gotta tell you, oxygen in that space is so pure. Because you taste it. You taste the oxygen when you think it could be your last set of oxygens. And I felt that something burst, and I remember as if my life had been totally brought to a screeching halt. And I waited as I went through the MRI to figure out what was going on at that hospital. And the pain just kept growing, and it felt like somebody had strapped on soccer cleats and was kicking me from the inside out, harder and harder and harder, until finally I thought, you know what? It might be better dying. It might be better just letting all this suffering go. Who here hasn't had that flirtation of, you know what, maybe it would be better just to let all this suffering go? What if I just relax and just let death take me now? I don't have to have somebody pick me up out of this wheelchair and put me on a toilet anymore. I don't have to have somebody else dress me or shower me. I'll be able to, in the next life, maybe get a totally new body and a new experience. So maybe now's the time. Just let go, Sean. And I went inside. And I began shutting down all the portals to the real world. My eyes closed, my ears closed off. I stopped feeling the external world. And a movie projector went on. And that movie projector started showing pictures, starting off from that cold hospital room, 1979, when the doctors told my parents, Sean's not going to make it. And I saw my mom's tears and my dad's tears. And I thought, oh, God, am I going to leave this world the same way I came into it? In a cold hospital room, scared? I sure hope not. Then another picture came on. I was older. I was in grade school. And I saw this girl from down the street who leaned over my wheelchair to give me my first kiss in kindergarten. I felt like, oh, I like this thing called women. I really do. And then the pictures started to change faster. I could see grade school, my friends Dave, Tucker, Katie, Joanne, they all started showing up. And then I saw fracture after fracture of the bones, and yet seeing how close my family was, always being there, telling me, Sean, you're not going to be able to do everything, so figure out what you can do and do the best. The pictures started coming quicker and quicker, and then I saw these thousands and then millions of people, faces that I couldn't put names to, and then I realized they were the faces of everyone that had been in my audiences for all the 15 years that I'd traveled. I'd squeezed myself into little jets and cargo planes and all these things that I've had to go on to get to audiences to share my message. I started seeing, waiting in terminals, and all these moments were just flashing faster and faster. Then I saw my heart being broken in my 20s over and over, and I started seeing the crying. I started seeing the laughing, and the pictures were just coming so fast that they curled off the screen and went around me and created a memory cyclone, and the energy started coming closer and closer, and I started breathing faster and faster, and I thought, is this how your life ends? You just see everything, and then everything stopped. And I thought, that's it. You get a picture of your life. It's a quick little film strip, and then it's blackness. Then something else happened. The movie projector came back on. Except this time there was a different film. This time the film was a horror film. But it wasn't about aliens or axe murders. It wasn't about government conspiracies. What was this horror film? It was pictures of everything I always wanted to do and never got around to. It was that orphanage called Adopt an Angel that I wanted to create for babies with disabilities in third world countries where they're normally drowned and killed because, well, disabled children outside of civilized countries, they're a big economic challenge for the family and they're a disgrace, so we must drown them because we don't want to carry them around. And I saw that my orphanage that I always wanted to create never happened. And I saw the kids in my confidence camp that I always wanted to create where I could teach children the best valuable lessons that you've been learning at Awesomeness Fest about health, wealth, and relationships. And those kids, they go on without me, never being able to attend those confidence camps. And I see the wife that I never got to walk down the aisle with. And the baby I never got to hold that was mine. My chest started to implode. I said, just let me out! Let me out! I want another chance! I know it took so much time I wasted. It's stupid not to time. And I worried about myself, and what do they like me, or should I try this, or what if I fail? No, I want another chance. Just give me another chance. And then the movie shut off. And the world shook again. And pain came searing back into my body. And I loved pain, because pain told me I was still alive. Do you get that? You get that. Every single one of you. If you're feeling pain, you are still alive. So I don't feel sorry for you that you're going through what you're going through, because guess what? There's still time on the clock. If you think that you're too old or too young, too thin, too fat, stop it right now. There's still time on the clock. And when I woke up, the doctor came in and he said, we have some good news and we have some bad news. The good news is, you're not going to die. The bad news is, the next 24 hours of your life are going to be the most excruciating pain known to humanity. And I looked at the doctor and I said, bring it on. I know pain. I know pain. Pain and I are like cousins that don't always get along. You see him at the family reunion and you're like, oh man, we share DNA, really? They should have used a condom with you. In that hospital, what I did is I turned to the nurse. See, it wasn't 24 hours of excruciating pain, it was 36. I had a kidney stone lodged between the bladder and the bladder and the kidney, and they couldn't get to it. And so the pressure kept building up in my kidney, and they said eventually the pressure will get to be so large, it'll push it into the bladder. And so you will go from the most massive amount of pain to no pain at all. in less than a second. And it'll be caused by something so tiny. I started to think about you. I started to think about each and every one of you. Sometimes it's the tiniest thing that when it's lodged in the wrong place in our life can bring us to our knees and make us think that maybe we should just end it all. But when it passes, you will feel a glorious experience. You know what relief is? Relief is the finality of pain. And I think relief is better than pleasure. Because pleasure is stimulation. Pleasure is about like this conscious decision. Relief is that final ending of pain. And boom, you get time back on the clock. Fresh. No obstruction. That's what I want for you. I want you to feel relief. I asked the nurse, I said, please give me a napkin and a pen. Stat. So she gets a napkin and a pen. I start jotting down a list, a bucket list. I said, I need to do these things. I'm given a second chance. I started writing down places I want to visit, people I want to meet, things I want to do. Start writing down, meet the Dalai Lama. That's when I made that decision to meet the Dalai Lama. That's when I wrote down, meet Richard Branson, get a television show, come out with a major best-selling book. All of these things, as you know, have transpired. Why? Because I loved that I had more time on the clock. In a sick, twisted way, I wish I could lodge that experience into you so that you could plead and beg and say, I want more time. But the good news is, I can't do that to you. The good news is you don't even need to go through that. The good news is, Awesomeness Fest can be that relief for you. And as I made that list, I visualized, I saw you've had plenty of content about goal setting. But what I want to do is I want to remind you of something. You're going to rot. Your tissue is going to disintegrate off of your bones. And then your bones will disappear. As if you never were here. And it's debated what happens next for us, is it? Yes, it totally is. But what's not debated is that there's still time on the clock for you. How do I know? You're breathing. You're hearing me and seeing me. So what I want to do right now is I want you to have 1 minute. Pull out your notepads or your laptops, and I want you to write your bucket list. And if you say, oh, Sean, I've already done that, do it again. And we're going to put on some music, and don't use it as an excuse to go potty, because I'm going to give you some awesome stuff coming up. You're going to get 1 minute, and here's what you're going to write down. People I want to meet, places I want to go, and things I want to experience. There's